All right. What's up, everybody? My people in Manhattan, the Boogie Down Bronx, Queens, all the way to Staten Island, my home borough, Brooklyn. Back at another video, and today marks the 45th anniversary of the classic, iconic, legendary horror film John Carpenter's Halloween, which was released on this day in 1978, and helped found and popularize the slasher film, a subgenre of the horror film genre. Halloween helped popularize it. Now, it didn't start many of the tropes. A lot of the tropes, like the final girl, the sexually promiscuous couple, the big silent killer stalking and hunting his victims, all that shit really started with Black Christmas, which was a Canadian horror flick released in 1974. Okay, it was released prior to the Texas Chainsaw Massacre in 1974, which also came out in 74. And Texas Chainsaw Massacre gets a lot of credit for starting those tropes, and it deserves credit. Don't get it twisted, but if we're gonna be honest, Black Christmas started it. Okay, it's just that Black Christmas doesn't get a lot of credit because it was a Canadian film. Okay, it doesn't get a lot of credit here in the States. Up in Canada, I'm sure it does, but here in the States, it doesn't get a lot of credit by the casual horror film fan or casual film fan in general. But Halloween definitely helped popularize it, and John Carpenter's on record stating he was influenced by Black Christmas. Okay, and he wanted to work with Bob Clark, who directed it, to create a holiday, horror film series. So, of course, Bob Clark did Black Christmas, so John Carpenter came with Halloween, which was filmed in 20 days, which is crazy to think about. Of course, you see here, this is the classic title, and John Carpenter also created the score for the film, though. Halloween arguably has the greatest film score in the history of the horror genre, arguably. That da 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 da. I don't want to hum it too much because I might get copyrighted, but definitely one of the greatest. It's been sampled all throughout music. I mean, it's just great. It's very classic and really sets the tone for the film, which starts here, the Myers house in 1963, where we see from the perspective of a 6-year-old boy. We see him, his sister, and his sister's boyfriend on the couch making out. Then he puts on his clown mask. He takes a knife, goes to his sister's room, and stabs his sister to death. See here, the young boy is now out with the knife. After this, he was taken to a mental institution where he stayed for 15 years under the care of Dr. Sam Loomis, played by the late Donald Pleasence. And on October 30th, 1978, he breaks out. He drives back to his hometown, Haddonfield, Illinois. How the hell he learned how to drive, I have no idea, because he went in when he was 6 years old. He was in there for 15 years, so he's 21 years old. So how the fuck did he learn how to drive? I don't know. I mean, on his way back to his town, he, of course, finds this guy, kills him, takes his clothes, and then proceeds to get back to the car to go back to his hometown, Haddonfield, Illinois. And one of the inhabitants of Haddonfield, Illinois, is teenager Laurie Strode, played by the great Jamie Lee Curtis. Okay, you see her here in the classroom, sitting during class, during a lesson, and she looks out the window and sees Michael Myers standing there with the mask on the car. And then all of a sudden he just disappears and he's gone. This is a few minutes later. See this boy, they were just bullying Tommy Doyle, who you can see in the background with his smashed pumpkin. He's running, and Michael catches him because he almost ran into Michael. Later on, you see Laurie and her two friends walking home, and there was a part in this film where Michael was stalking them. He was in the car, and I believe the girl in the yellow taunted him, saying, "Hey, jerk, speed kills." Michael stopped the car, and then he just pulled off. And Michael's like, "Let it go, Michael. You got shit to do. Let this bitch have this." Then later on, we see Laurie and this girl in the yellow walking. Michael standing behind a bush. Laurie tells her to look, and then Michael was gone. She goes to look for Michael. Michael's nowhere to be found, and then she just makes fun of Laurie, say, "Laurie, dear, he wants to talk to you." She goes home, and then Laurie goes home, and then we see Michael pop out again. Laurie's home. She's looking outside her window, and she sees Michael standing here by the hangers, and then poof, he's gone. The camera work for this film, not to get off topic, but the camera work, the cinematography was just off the chart. It was amazing. This was to be done in 20 days, this was a well done film. I don't know if a film could be made today in 20 days. If a film was made in 2023 in 20 days, I don't think it'd be as great as this one was. Well, depending on the budget. But anyway, back to the point. Later that night, you see one of Laurie's friends. I don't know why her name escaped my mind right now. Let's just call her. You see her on the phone talking to Laurie, and Michael's outside. You can't see him right now. And then the dog sees Michael, and Michael unfortunately strangles him to death. So sorry for all you dog lovers watching this. Sorry you have to see this, but it's what happened. And this is one of my favorite scenes in the film. This line of dialogue here, and of course I'm not gonna quote it word for word, but Dr. Sam Loomis said, "I met this 7-year-old child with these blank eyes, the devil's eyes. I spent 8 years trying to reach him, and 7 years trying to keep him locked up. Because what I realized, what behind that child's eyes was nothing but purely and simply evil." It was just a great line of dialogue, well written, very well written. And Donald Pleasance, I mean, he probably should have got nominated for an Oscar for this role. I mean, because he did a great job in this movie, in all the movies, but particularly in this one. He did a great job as Dr. Sam Loomis. Later on, you see this girl. She's in the laundry room with a new shirt on. She's talking on the phone. And, of course, she walks one way. And then she walks back, and you can see Michael. He hears music. Dun-dun-dun. You know, those are probably my favorite parts of the film, when Michael would just pop out of nowhere, and then he just disappear. She's talking to a boyfriend on the phone. She wants to go, hook up with him. So she brings the girl she's been babysitting over to Tommy Doyle's house. Of course, Tommy's being babysat by Laurie Strode. And on her way back to the house she was staying at, in the car, she gets strangled by Michael. Now, I was going to include the part where the still shot where Michael strangled her, but I don't think this video will be able to get uploaded if I included that, so I just left that part out. You see Tommy and this girl sitting on the couch watching a film. I forgot what film they were watching. I think they were watching like The Thing or some shit. And Tommy decides to play a trick on her behind the curtain and making mysterious voices like, "Hey," making scary noises. And then Tommy sees Michael carrying the brown-haired girl, her dead body, into the house. And she screams, "Ah, the boogeyman, Laurie, it's the boogeyman," blah, 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 so on and so forth. Later on, you see this blonde girl and her boyfriend, Bob. It's crazy I can remember the boy's name. I can't remember her name. You see her drinking a beer. They're in the car, and they're ready to get it on. You see, the sexually promiscuous couple. One of the classic slasher film tropes. You see them getting busy on the couch, and Michael just watching, probably rubbing his nipples. But anyway, you see them laying in the bed smoking cigarettes after getting done. Anyway, he heads downstairs to get her a beer, and Michael pops out of nowhere, strangles him to death, stabs him, and leaves his body hanging, which is probably one of the, not to sound dark, one of the best kills in the film. And then Michael does his iconic head taunt. There's head tilt, pardon me. He later comes up with his glasses on and a sheet covering his body. She thinks it's him, and of course, says, "Hey, baby, where's my beer?" And then she flashes him, but Michael ain't feeling her. Then she gets on the phone to call Laurie, and Michael comes up behind her and, of course, strangles her. And they see him on the phone, breathing heavy on the phone, And Laurie, being, of course, one of the first and one of the greatest final girls, she does what any final dumbass final girl does in a film. She decides to go towards the danger. Unbeknownst to her, she decides to go towards the danger. She walks into the house, walks upstairs, walks into the room. She thinks her friends are just playing tricks on her, but they're not. And she sees the brown-haired girl's dead body on the bed with the Judith Myers above her. Then she sees his dead body, her friend's dead body. She's screaming. She runs into the hallway. And Michael, I don't know if you guys can see him in the background. You hear him, da-da-da, which is probably my favorite. Of all Michael's pop-ups in the film, this is probably my favorite one. Because he comes out of the dark and all you hear is da-da-da. You can't really see him. You have to look hard. Then he comes up behind Laurie. He attempts to stab her. He only cuts her arm. Laurie falls over the staircase and falls on the stairs. And then the chase begins. Michael's going down the stairs to find her. Laurie's running. She's trying to get out of the house, but Michael locked her in with the rake. She breaks the glass, knocks the rake down, and and she gets away from Michael. She knocks on her neighbor's door, begging for help. He ignores her. She goes home, and of course, she forgot the key. She threw a plant up by the window to wake up Tommy. Tommy woke up, opened the door. Of course, she locked the door, told Tommy to go hide upstairs. And she's sitting there on the couch. Michael comes out. I don't know how the fuck he got in, but he comes out, attempts to stab her, misses, and Laurie takes the knitting needle and stabs Michael in the side of his neck. Of course, you see her right there. She picks up the knife and looks at his dead body. Of course, assuming he's dead, she goes upstairs to get the kids. But Michael's still alive, and Tommy screams. And Laurie tells him to go hide in the room and lock the door. Laurie goes in the room, locks the door, and hides in the closet. Of course, Michael breaks down the closet door. Laurie takes the wire hanger, makes a needle out of it, and stabs Michael in his eye. Once again, she assumes he's dead, and of course he isn't. He pops up to kill her. Laurie gets up. Michael attacks her from behind. She unmasks him. First time we see Michael unmasked in the film. Just like that, Dr. Sam Loomis comes out of nowhere and shoots Michael point blank in the face. Multiple times, Michael falls over the balcony, lands on the lawn. Dr. Sam Loomis goes to look, and, well, he's gone. And Laurie Strode asks, "Was that the boogeyman?" Why, yes, indeed it was. And then you hear the music, and dun 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 dun, and they show all the scenes in the film, and you hear Michael's heavy breathing, and that's the end of it. No, the film that helped popularize the horror genre. And this movie, along with Texas Chainsaw Massacre and Black Christmas, set the tone for horror films, particularly slasher films of the 80s. The Friday the 13th series, the Nightmare on Elm Street series, Child's Play, which comes up in the late 80s, early 90s. Then those films kind of get, tiresome and dry and bland. Of course, Halloween continues to release films. Halloween 2 in 1981, Halloween 3, Season of the Witch, Halloween 4 and 5, The Return of Michael Myers and The Revenge of Michael Myers. The slasher film is popular, but then it starts to wane. It starts to wane in popularity until Scream in 1996 revitalized popularity in the horror in the slasher film genre by making fun of itself and making fun of the rules and the tropes and so on and so forth. But the slasher film doesn't become popular initially, I don't think, without this film. And once again, Halloween popularized the slasher genre. Did it create a lot of the tropes? No. Once again, Black Christmas and the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, both released in 1974, they created a lot of the final tropes. The tropes, the final girl, the sexually promiscuous couple, we get some scenes from the killer's perspective, the killer's point of view. A lot of this stuff, the great film score, a lot of that comes from those two movies. But Halloween definitely added its own little spice to it. John Carpenter did, Jamie Lee Curtis did, Donald Pleasence, rest in peace, did, and it popularized it. So this is probably my favorite slasher film, one of my favorite horror films, period, of all time. And those aren't the same thing. A lot of people think slasher flicks and horror flicks are the same thing. No, slasher films are just a subgenre of horror films. Okay, but anyway, that's my video for the movie for the 45th anniversary. Tell me what you guys think in the comment section down below. Is this your favorite film ever? This is my favorite. This is probably my favorite movie in the whole series, the first one. I enjoyed Halloween 2 and 4 and 5. No, the rest of them, not really that much. I mean, I like this last trilogy. Halloween, Halloween Kills, and Halloween. And I enjoyed this last trilogy. But, yeah, this last trilogy, 1, 2, 4, and 5 are my favorites. The other ones are, they're all right. The ones there, But anyway, tell me, what's your favorite slasher film of all time? What's your favorite scary movie? I'm just playing, but I'm saying. Click the like button, subscribe, and I'm going to see you all.